Imagine it, feel it, believe it. That was Neville Goddard's formula. And boy, does it work. I created a meditation to guide you through those 3 steps to imagine, feel, and believe anything you want to draw into your life. Check it out at hightimelinebooks.com, and don't forget you can get all 3 of the prosperity meditations in a bundle, 3 for the price of 2. hightimelinebooks.com. Welcome into a new week here on Monday, the 17th of March. Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Boy, we've got a lot to talk about. I want us to do like we do sometimes and jump up and go way up into the clouds, and let's look at this thing from a macro perspective. We'll do that right after we check in with Kristin for Lucky Stars. Good morning, Kristin.
Hello, Thomas and Fun Astrology Podcast. Happy Monday and happy St. Patrick's Day. The full moon eclipse of last week is over, but we still have some cautionary energy through this week and some challenging energies coming through this weekend. There are some Lucky Stars days coming up next week. To find out what they are early, join the Lucky Stars Club. Thomas and I can't wait to see you there. I hope you all have a lucky week.
And thank you, Kristin. It's interesting because as we roll into the keywords for this week, it's exactly what Kristin just said. Not quite as much as last week, but crisis. If you remember, crisis was a keyword last week. And if you've been watching your 401k, not funny, Thomas. And work is also up there. But we still do have the happiness that we had before. It's just not as prominent. These are more serious, get things done kind of keywords. And that's exactly the energy that we have right now. And Kristin interpreted that in Lucky Stars exactly that way. We have 2 things on the docket for today. 3:30 this morning Eastern, the moon enters my sign of Scorpio. And those of you who have a Scorpio moon know exactly what that's about. Deep emotions, intensities, sometimes often being misunderstood, sexual issues, possible loss. It's all in 2 days. No, but those are some of the themes of the moon in Scorpio as Scorpio characteristics come to life. Now, the other big thing today is that the moon wobble peaks today because the sun at 2:03 p.m. Eastern conjoins the north node of the moon in Pisces. I think I told you I got the book that Carl Payne Toby wrote about the nodes in the moon. I forget the name of it. It's hard to find anyway. But how this whole moon wobble thing came up is he was researching why there were so many house fires, and he thought it was going to be around eclipses. But no, it was around when the sun either conjoined or squared the nodes of the moon. Now, he was researching for insurance companies literally 100 years ago, so that probably doesn't apply today. But what he extruded that into is wonky, bizarre, crazy stuff that's not supposed to happen can during the moon wobble. Now, it tails out for this next week, but as I've been observing this for several years now, we haven't seen anything major that I've seen during this tail out period. It's still there, technically, but it's getting a lot weaker, fortunately. Now, as we start to elevate up and take a look at the macro, we do have, as you know, Mercury and Venus both in retrograde. A lot has been said on that already, and Mercury retrograde, of course, is no stranger. But let me give you an example. Like, I have just a lot of really major decisions at my doorstep right now. And with these 3 in particular, it is not a good time to be making major decisions right now. So what do? Do we adopt the Paramahansa Yogananda perspective of give me the worst time to start something, which would be now, and I will start it, he said. And he was an astrologer. This is the guy that brought yoga to the United States in the 1960s and 70s. Very powerful. He said, I'll start it and it will be successful. So we can obviously use the power of intention. And if we want to follow the sky, and we're going to be slow to make those kinds of decisions right now. I'll let you know what I end up doing. At the end of the day, I will tell you that mine will be driven by intuition. I totally respect the astrology. Now, I've been super busy the last several days, so what I will probably do is go to several different areas where I can put myself into kind of the, as much as possible, the Zen zone, and I will change those locations to get a different take on it. and I'll just be doing my little intuitive process from different energy perspectives. And then we'll see what the collective combination of those is. Usually they're all the same, but I just like to try it from different, making sure that I'm in the right space and the answers are coming in clearly and that they match. When you get all of that aligned, boom, then time to take action accordingly. If it says wait until the end of April, I'm happy to do that. I have no attachment to the outcome. It's a good way to look at it. Now, also this week, the sun leaves Pisces and enters Aries on Thursday. If you're tracking already, that's an early Thursday thing. It's at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be talking about that quite a bit. It should be imprinted on your mind now that any planet changing signs is going to fairly quickly aspect Pluto. And the sun will. It's a sextile this time, and that happens on Sunday. So bring the Pluto party in. Anybody had enough of Pluto party? Eesh. So, hey, look, we've been talking about this forever. What have we been saying? The challenge of Pluto in Aquarius is going to be, don't tell me what to do, versus I'm going to control you through technology. Now, is that not just playing out every day in the headlines? You can't make this stuff up, folks. All right, let's move forward to the 29th. That's in 2 weeks. We have the partial solar eclipse at 9 degrees Aries. We'll talk more about that as well. And then on the 30th, and this is where I want to camp, Neptune enters Aries. I have a lot of thoughts around this. I'm going to try to put some of the ladies together to do a special webinar and talk about this because it needs a lot of extraction. Let me just give you a taste of this. First of all, the last time this happened was 1861 to 1875, right on the American Civil War. Go back before that was 1697, so basically right at 1700 to 1711. That was the War of Spanish Succession. Let's go back one more, because that is the early 1500s, and that was the Protestant Reformation. So you can see with those three, we have not dreaming about our spirituality, getting active about our spirituality, and yes, war, fighting for it. And another big theme around each of those events also was bringing corruption to light. So for you and me, how are we going to experience this? We are going to be a lot more active about our spirituality. We're going to be more active about the truth. Some of you will want to arise as spiritual warriors, taking big, bold steps into your spirituality and taking it out, being willing to fight for it. And then, of course, there's the whole analogy to closing things up with Pisces and the 12th house and the new creations of Aries and the first house, the shining out of yourself with many new approaches to life, to spirituality, to the world around us. And yes, hopefully, spirituality itself experiences this same renaissance. Many have been calling it the new dimension or 4D, 5D, 6D, whatever it is. All things new on the spiritual horizons as well. Now, this is going to take a while because Neptune will stick its toe basically into Aries. We always get a whiff of what that's going to be like. Then it zips back in October in retrograde, only 1 degree, 29 degrees Pisces, and then in January of next year is when it moves into Aries for good. I think if you count them all up, Pluto did this to us 5 times. That retrograde dance right there at 0 degrees Aquarius and back into Capricorn. Well, we're only going to do it once, but it's going to be basically the next year. Neptune straddling these two energies in our life. Okay, like I said, let me get my feet back on the ground a little bit, and I will put some things together, and we will explore this more, not only here, but also we'll do some special presentations on it as well. This is a big deal, and we've been looking forward to it. 5 outer planets changing signs within 2.5 years. Never happened before on Earth, and we are covering it every day. Liz Grace will be here tomorrow, and I'll see you back on Wednesday. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.